In this demonstration, we're going to show you how to create extensions for Oracle Cloud Apps using Oracle Visual Builder Studio. My name is Shai Schmelzer. Welcome to this demo. In this specific demonstration, we're going to show you how to access Visual Builder directly from the Oracle Cloud Apps menu, how you can create a new App UI application, how to access Oracle SaaS data directly from the service catalog, how to create user interfaces interacting with this data, and then how to publish and access your running extension. We're starting in Oracle Cloud Application, and from the main menu under Configuration, you can find Visual Builder. When you open Visual Builder, you'll see the projects that you have access to, and we're going to pick up one of those projects. The project is associated with an Oracle Cloud Application environment, and we're going to create a new workspace of type Application Extension. We're going to provide the basic information for this extension, including which platform it maps to. We're going to indicate that this is not an extension to an existing application, but rather a new application we're creating. And in this case, we're also going to create a new repository that would hold our application code. So we're going to provide the name for the repository and the branch and click to create our new application extension. This would take us into the Visual Editor where we can further develop this extension. In the Visual Developer, we can create a new App UI application. We can also use reusable fragments if we want to. In our case, we're just going to create a simple App UI application, provide it with a name, click Create, and then we can access the first page of our application to design it in our Visual Editor. On the left side, we have a collection of components we can use in our user interface. We're going to pick up the heading and drop it on the page and then configure it to have the correct title. Then we're going to look up an input text component and drop it below this title. We're going to change the label for this field and we're going to map it to a new variable we're going to create in our application. This is normal development in Oracle Visual Builder, allowing us to create user interfaces and variables to hold data. Now below this search field, we want to add a list of employees. To do that, we're going to need to access the Oracle Cloud Application HCM and pick up information about employees. We're going to use the service connection to map to one of our catalogs. In the catalog, we can see the catalogs for all our cloud apps, including Sales and Service, ERP and SEM, and HCM. We're going to use the HCM catalog and look up a specific business object that we're interested in working with, which is the worker object. Now that we added it into our application, we can go back to our user interface designer and from the data palette, pick up this worker business object and drag and drop it on the page to create various user interfaces. For example, we're going to create a list. We can choose a template for our list, and then we can choose the specific fields we want to show in the list. This is all the fields that are available for me in the worker object. We're going to pick up the display name, which is the name of the employee, and then we're going to look up the phone number, put it in the secondary slot, and in addition, we're going to want to know which city the employee is working in. So we're going to pick up this piece of information and put it over here in our template. In the next step, we can configure a filtering mechanism for our list. We're going to filter based on the display name of the employee. And we're going to check that it's containing whatever we have in the search string. We'll click Finish, and our page would execute in the Visual Designer, giving us the information we need. If we're ready now to test our page, we can simply click the Preview button. This would spin up an instance of the application and would allow us to work with the application like a regular user. For example, we can put in a specific name, such as Tracy, to filter our list and find out all the Tracys in our database. Now that we're happy with the application and how it functions, we're ready to publish it. To do that, we're going to click the Publish button. publish button would save our changes into our Git repository. So we're going to provide a commit message with information about what we did in terms of changes. And then we're going to click the publish change button. We need to provide the username and password for our Oracle SaaS instance, so we'll be able to deploy the application over there. So I'm providing my own username and password. This completes pushing the code into the Git repository, and then it's going to run a build job that would actually take my application and publish it on the Oracle Cloud Application instance. Let's go over to our project to see that part. In our project, under the build section, we'll be able now to see the build job that has been queued for us to take the application and package it. This build job is part of a pipeline. The pipeline was created for me, and as we can see right now, it's actually executing. The first step in the pipeline is to take the application, optimize it, and package it. Once this step finished successfully, the next step is going to deploy our application onto the Oracle Cloud instance. Now we can look in our environment and we can see the Oracle application instance over here. And under deployment, we'll see a section dedicated for our application extensions. If we'll expand this one, we'll be able to see our deployed application. We can even open it in a new browser window. We have a standalone URL for it to access it, and the application behaves just like we meant it to be. This is how easy it is to build extensions for Oracle Cloud applications with Visual Builder.